So we've come to the halfway point of 2020, and it's not necessarily the year we all expected, but today I'm giving you all my 20 favorite movies and television shows I've seen in 2020 thus far. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. 2020 has been a rough year for a lot of people, but I wanted to think positive in this video and talk about not only my favorite movies of the year, but my favorite TV shows as well. So today, we're talking 20 things in 2020 that I like. You see what I did with the 20s? No? Well, Austin, that's a lot. I wanted it to go with the theme, and we're not necessarily saying, 10 movies and 10 TV shows. I'm just giving you all 20 options that you can go and watch right now, whether it's on Netflix or Amazon, renting a film on VOD. I believe all of these movies and shows are worth the watch, and since we're talking 20, we're going to try to speed this up. You guys know me, I like to talk a lot. I need your comments down below. What is your favorite movie of the year? What is your favorite show of the year? And why? If you leave that comment and hit that thumbs up button, I'm doing something interesting with this video. I'm picking my favorite, and you will be winning some sort of prize. Now, what is that prize? Tune into my live stream this week to find out what that is, and I think you're going to like it. So with that out of the way, let's get into the first portion of this video, and that is sequel seasons to shows that I love, but these are the best sequel seasons that I've seen this year, and obviously we are going to start with Dark. By the way, these are in no particular order, but if you all have never seen Dark, Season 3 just premiered. It was the finale season, and I have never seen anything on this level of quality and just pure sci-fi time travel goodness. It's a family saga with a supernatural twist set in a German town. It's all about the disappearance of multiple individuals that turns into this explosion of creativity and just one of the most well-written shows from a story perspective. You have interesting relationships, great dialogue. Dark is fantastic. The final season just premiered, and it's in the argument for the best overall thing that I've seen this year, and it has turned into possibly my favorite show on Netflix. If not my favorite, then one of my favorites. I think Dark is worth a watch. So then we get into another sequel season. Season 2 of Kingdom. Season 1 blew me away because, zombies and the trope of that kind of TV show, but you set it in this time period, all about a king and a crown prince and their only hope against this mysterious plague. And it's interesting enough, but this second season fleshed out so many aspects of this story. The action is some of the best that I think I've ever seen on television. It is a phenomenal overall story, and if you like this kind of genre, even if you're not a big fan of zombie genres, and you want to give one a try that you think is worth watching, I say go Kingdom. It is possibly my favorite zombie show of all time, and Season 2 is yet another season that delivered. Now, unlike Dark, this isn't the final season. There's more to it, but Kingdom is a high recommendation from me. And then we come to one of the marquee Netflix shows, in my opinion. Now, these other Netflix shows are super high quality, but Ozark is one that I think a lot of people, especially in the States, recognize, and part of that is Jason Bateman. You have some star power there, but the overall cast and the overall story, maybe Netflix's version. Now, I know they're the home of Breaking Bad, but their version of Breaking Bad in terms of their original series. It's about a financial advisor who drags his family from Chicago to the Ozarks, and he's laundering money because of something that happened with this big drug fallout. And I never could have imagined Jason Bateman in a role like this until I saw it in action, until I saw this story play out. And Season 3 not only capitalizes on what Season 1 and 2 gave us, it's my favorite season so far. I'm going to have such a difficult time at the end of the year ranking my favorite TV shows. And it's a shame because a lot of them are sequel seasons. We're going to talk about original Season 1s here in just a second, but Ozark was fantastic. Season 4, they just announced, is the final season, but Season 3, the build-up and what they gave us, and especially that finale, not going to spoil anything, but y'all, Ozark. Have you guys ever heard of Sex Education? The TV show. So Season 1 surprised me. It was so good. Season 2 comes out, not really expecting anything from it compared to Season 1, because normally shows like this, they go downhill. Not this one. Not this one. It's all about a teenage boy with a sex therapist mother who teams up with high school classmates to set up an underground sex therapy clinic at the school. Now, that was really kind of the theme of Season 1. Season 2 explores the characters a bit more, and it's more of the fallout of what happened, but the same kind of humor, the stylistic aspects that I love from the first season, and really the characters, they all carry over into Season 2 to make Sex Education, I think, one of the best shows on TV, and one of the funniest things I've seen this year. And I'll keep this one brief because a lot of people just haven't heard of this show, and it really is a shame, but Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beasts. It's basically about this girl who is exploring the possibilities of this new world in a post-apocalyptic setting. So, like Adventure Time on Cartoon Network, it's really dark, but it's colorful and exaggerated a bit, but super fun for kids. So I think kids are going to love it. And then adults are going to get so much out of the thematic elements of this show. And it just came out with Season 2. Season 2 paid off in so many different ways. And I just think this is the perfect show if you love animation and you want something different from what you're used to. Check out Kipo. Now, we're going to keep it in the animated space and talk about another finale season, and that is Bojack Horseman. Now, Part 1 came out last year. Part 2 of Season 6 came out this year, and one of the greatest animated finales I have ever seen. A lot of people know what Bojack is, who it is. The character is the star of Horsing Around from the 90s, and this is kind of the fallout from that, and it focuses on the fact that he's just this washed-up guy living in Hollywood, dealing with so many different issues, from alcoholism to relationship problems. Like I said, an adult show that's built in an animated world, and I loved the finale of this show. Now, we did get a finale in Rick and Morty, but that was the finale to Season 4. Part 2 premiered in January and went all the way up until a couple of months ago, and you guys know me. I'm such a big Rick and Morty fan. I didn't get a chance to review the season on this channel because, sometimes the fan base is a little back and forth, and it's my show that I just like to enjoy and not necessarily have to do a review for, but I did want to bring it up here because even though a little bit more inconsistent than some other seasons, I still thought Season 4 had some magnificent high points. It went out on a high point. The finale was great, and some of the better crafted episodes I've seen of the show thus far. So if you're a Rick and Morty fan, obviously you've seen it. If you're not a Rick and Morty fan, I'm not going to recommend you guys skip the first 3 seasons and watch Season 4, but I did want to bring it up because Season 4, I thought, was really good. And now we're getting in Season 1's original shows that dropped in 2020 for the first time, and we're going to keep it in the animated world and talk about the other show from creator Justin Roiland, and you're going to hear the voices, you're going to think, oh, that's just a Rick and Morty spinoff of sorts. No, it's not. It's a very different show. It's all about a family of aliens that move to Middle America where they debate whether life is better there or on their home planet. There's an A story, a B story, but it's the C story of this show. The plot of the individuals that are living in a wall, that's all I'm going to say if you haven't seen it, that really just blew me away. And this is a funny show, and I really like the main storylines, and the characters are interesting. A bit of a retread from Rick and Morty in parts, but certain aspects of the show are so different, and I really hope they build on that in future seasons. They've already announced future seasons. Solar Opposites on Hulu is a funny show to watch if you like animation. And let's go from something funny to something serious with a show called Unorthodox. I thought it was just magnificent on Netflix. It's all about a young, ultra-Orthodox Jewish woman. She's fleeing her arranged marriage and her community to start a new life abroad, and some of the performances in this show are among the best of the year. Shira Haas, who plays our main character, I have never seen this level of emotion displayed in a story like this that you just, and I hate to say it like this, you don't expect too much from, but I got a lot from these performances. I got a lot from this show. A very short series, easy to binge. It's emotional, but if you like that kind of show, I think you'll enjoy this. Now we're going to move from Netflix to Amazon Prime. Creator Greg Daniels, a.k.a. our boy from The Office and Parks and Rec, he came out with 2 shows this year. One is Space Force, which I'm not going to include in this video. The other one is Upload, which I am going to include. A man is able to choose his own afterlife after his death, which was untimely. He has his consciousness uploaded into this virtual world, but then questions start to arise, elements start to come in, it turns into a bit of a mystery, and this show's really good. Really good. It's entertaining. Now, there are some aspects I hope they get rid of in Season 2, and some jokes that didn't land, but with a comedy like this, you're always going to get jokes that don't land. Look at Space Force. But Upload really worked for what it was going for, and I had a lot of fun with it. Robbie Amell, he's a good lead, and I liked him in this show a lot. So we're going back to the animated world, talking about one unlike anything I've ever seen. It's all about a character named Clancy who is going through the universe and interviewing different types of individuals for a podcast, but this show is actually a podcast. So they're building this animated world around actual episodes from Duncan Trussell's podcast, where he's talking to these people in real life. And guys, I've never seen a show like this. And I feel like a lot are going to watch this and be like, where's the story? Where's the plot? Where's the narrative? But the fact that they're doing this built around something that I love doing, podcasting, and the interviews are also fascinating anyway, but they're building this animation around it. It's cool. Again, it's not for everyone, but the Midnight Gospel is crazy. My voice just cracked. Puberty's weird. I'm 24. Here's a massive show. So it's all about the complicated life of a modern-day, first-generation Indian-American teenage girl created from the minds of someone like Mindy Kaling. And I saw this, and I'm like, okay, it's nice. It's got diversity and all this stuff. But I've seen 1,000 shows like this before. What's it going to do to stand out? Well, one, it was genuinely hilarious. Like, I laughed so much. And two, the way that they tell the story and the acting, it's all so good. I was so invested with Never Have I Ever, and I thoroughly enjoyed this show. And you guys know what kind of show this is, this kind of genre. It's romantic, it's got some teenage stuff, maybe some angst, some comedy. It's a cute, quirky show, but it goes beyond that. It gets deeper, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, Never Have I Ever, I would recommend. And another one, Love, Victor, from the creators of Love, Simon. And you know what that movie is. It's romantic, it's quirky, but it's well made. And this show, I believe, is even better than the movie. Love, Victor carries on this storyline in a way. It's got some great Easter eggs for fans of the movie, but it's its own thing, and it creates this atmosphere that was awesome, and the story itself is really well done. So season 1 of Love, Victor on Hulu is vastly underrated, in my opinion, because not enough people were talking about it. And I really hope to see more from this universe. And we gotta throw in a documentary of sorts. This is a documentary series. It's The Last Dance. It was a huge deal on ESPN. It's finally coming to Netflix in the United States. I hope everyone sits down, buckles up, goes on this journey and this adventure with this team. I learned more about Michael Jordan than I ever thought I could know, but they also flesh out everyone else on the Bulls as they're going through their final season, and they're flashing back to earlier moments in their lives. And I love sports. I love basketball. I've always been an NBA fan. This show may be one of the best NBA-centric documentaries I've ever seen, with the greatest player of all time. So those are all of my series and TV show recommendations for you all from 2020. If you're interested in any of them, give them a chance. But let's move into movies. We're going to talk 5 of my favorite movies of the year so far, and start out with The Invisible Man, Elizabeth Moss. I didn't know what to expect from this film. Leigh Whannell is such a good director, but can they capitalize on both the horror aspects and the sci-fi elements that they were kind of pitching in the trailer? Yes. Yes, they did. And you'll know if you go on Letterboxd where this ranks on the year for me in terms of movies, but The Invisible Man was just a glorious combination, and everyone I've recommended this to has thoroughly enjoyed it, from my parents to my wife to everyone around me. And it's just a movie that's super cool. Now, did it go beyond that in terms of, is it the best script I've seen all year? Not necessarily, but it's good, it's a little bit horrifying, thrilling, and The Invisible Man is super fun. From the director of The Accountant and Warrior, one of my favorite underrated directors working right now, this is The Way Back, starring Ben Affleck. I love this movie. I think I loved it more than most. It's really high up on the year for me, and Ben Affleck's performance is something that I really hope, especially this year. Not a lot coming out, and some things getting pushed, maybe into next year, and sure, the Oscar season in general is extended, but Ben Affleck's performance, keep an eye on that. I don't think it's that kind of movie when it comes to Best Picture, but I really hope he at least gets recognized and looked at for how good he was in this film. A very close and personal movie to him, obviously, but his performance was outstanding. And the film itself, it's a good sports drama. It's got good emotion, some moments I didn't love, but overall, it's super solid. And speaking of Oscars, right now, I would say the leading contender is Da 5 Bloods. Delroy Lindo. Oh my goodness, best performance I've seen this year thus far. It's a film that takes a bit to get to when things really kick in, halfway through the movie, right? But once it gets there, you realize that all of that buildup was there for a reason. Some of the storylines don't necessarily come back around, but for the most part, the payoff is excellent. I love the performances, like I said, and Spike Lee's style, incorporating actual footage and really cool things that he does with the music and the shot selection, the flashback scenes. I loved that choice. Overall, Da 5 Bloods was really interesting for me, a cool movie to check out on Netflix, but we're going to go back about a month before Da 5 Bloods came out and talk about Bad Education on HBO, another movie. We're talking about great performances. Throw Hugh Jackman in there. Throw a lot of individuals from here. Ray Romano's in there. Allison Janney gives a great performance. But Bad Education is a cool movie because it takes this true story centered around this guy. You know, he's a little uppity. He's always dressing nice. The kids love him. But then you start to dive deeper and something's going on behind the scenes. And everyone involved and not involved really have to figure out what are we going to do about this. Bad Education is a great drama. It's thrilling at times. A bit of humor thrown in there. It's super well made. And I thoroughly enjoyed most elements of this movie. One of my favorites of the year so far. And then a film that not a lot of people have seen. I'll keep this quick. It's called Sorry We Missed You, directed by Ken Loach. It's all about a delivery driver in the UK and his wife struggling to raise a family, and they're trapped in this circle of labor exploitation. It's just a family drama. Ken Loach is a great director. I love movies like this. I think it's extremely emotional. Not a lot of happy moments, and it's very real. Think of Manchester by the Sea, but with a different kind of story, a family-centric story, a bit of fallout with the kids and whatnot, and it's just... But it's a beautiful movie, and it's full of emotion, and that's what I want to see out of a film like this. So it's not going to be for everyone, but I thoroughly think it's one of the best films I've seen this year, and the screenplay is awesome. Well, we've talked about 19 movies and shows. I feel like we need to talk about one more thing. And yes, Hamilton is technically a movie. I'm waiting to see if it's going to be considered for the Academy Awards. If it is, I'll throw it on my best of the year list on Letterboxd. But if it's not, it is easily one of the best stage productions I've ever seen. Obviously, it was on Broadway. It's won numerous awards, so many awards, but for good reason. I finally got to experience Hamilton. It's just awesome. It's awesome. Everyone involved, and I've always known Daveed Diggs, Lin-Manuel Miranda. I know them from the movie world because that's what I'm familiar with. I'm not as invested in theater, not as invested in Broadway. But after seeing this, man, and I'm not even that much of a musical guy. This was awesome. I had so much fun with Hamilton. It's on Disney Plus for everyone to check out. I'm glad I can finally get all of the references, and I'm glad I now understand how good this music is, and just the fact that they do this so often. They did this every night of the week. Like, I could never imagine the difficulty level, and no wonder this won so many awards. Hamilton is a huge recommendation, and there we have it, guys. 20 movies and shows and productions in general that I've loved this year. Like I said, we didn't get the movies that we expected this year, but we've still gotten some good stuff. I can't wait to see what we get next, and I'm curious to see how many of these films are actually going to pay off on our anticipation that is obviously building because of what has been transpiring in the real world. Like I said, guys, leave your comments if you enjoy this vid, smash that thumbs up button, and I appreciate you guys so much for watching this video. A lot of fun to make. I'll see you soon.